Hi guys and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking. Henry Cavill on his press tour, virtual press tour for Enola Holmes. He's getting a lot of discussion about Superman on the Snyder Cut, of course, like every press tour he'll do, whether it be for The Witcher or Mission Impossible. Superman will always come up because it's such an iconic character, and he's so lucky to be in that position to be playing the character. But look, if you remember back November last year, when he was promoting The Witcher, a lot of people gave him a lot of shit because he didn't acknowledge the Snyder Cut. He was asked about the Snyder Cut. He said he doesn't know if there is a Snyder Cut, but he wants to look forward to the future of the character. And people give him shit and called him the C word and all that stuff happened. But I always stood by Henry Cavill. I never went in that direction of calling him names. I always tried to see things from his perspective. And at the time, he didn't have a Superman contract. It was up in the air whether he would come back and wear the cape. We didn't know if Superman was going to be recast. A lot of talk of Michael B. Jordan and other actors coming in and taking up the mantle. Henry Cavill at the time did not have a future for the character. Remember, the Shazam cameo didn't work out. The Snyder Cut didn't seem to be anywhere in sight. And Henry Cavill, for me, had to play ball with Warner Brothers. At the time, AT&T wasn't really involved. It was up to Henry Cavill to play ball with the studio. And at the time, if he went against the studio, it would have been terrible for his chances coming back at playing the character. It really would have been. If he came out and called out WB, if he called out Josh Whedon, if he called out Jeff Johns, if he called out and said there was a Snyder Cut and he wants to see it, Warner Brothers probably wouldn't look at that too lightly because they were looking forward to the future of the DCEU and probably more of like a hopeful Superman film that wasn't anything like Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman. And of course he does what his agent tells him to do. He's a very political guy. He speaks in very political mannerisms, so he doesn't really give too much away. So I was never expecting him to be a one that came out and went against the studio. It was different for Jason Momoa because his $1 billion film hit, he couldn't be touched. He was always going to come back for a 2 and 3 Aquaman. It's not like Batman versus Superman cracked $1 billion, and that's what Warner Bros. At the time were obsessed with that Marvel money. And Gal Gadot, of course, she could speak about it because she had 2 Wonder Woman films as well, and definitely a third. She was popular in the character. Ray Fisher talked about it because his character was butchered, and at the time we didn't know what went on behind the scenes, but we later found out that a lot of shit went down, and Ray Fisher was pretty pissed off at Warner Brothers and how they handled the situation, pissed at Jeff Johns and all that stuff. So he felt like he had nothing to lose. And of course Zack Snyder was teasing it the whole time on Vero and online with the fans, and then the big fan community was continuing its fight per se for the film to be released. So I never went in the direction of criticizing Henry Cavill because we didn't know his position, his perspective. We didn't know his opinion away from the camera, because an actor's opinion, a director's opinion towards the audience and online is not always the same as it is behind the scenes, because you just don't know what's going on with contracts and stuff like that. But this time, since the Snyder Cut has been confirmed and it is coming, he is talking very positively about the Snyder Cut, about Zack Snyder, and about the future of Superman, which is great to hear. He was never against Zack Snyder in the first place. That was just a myth. That was just a bad rumor made up, and that was squashed the minute he showed up for the Man of Steel watch party on Vero. But let's get into what Henry Cavill has been saying about the Snyder Cut, about Superman, and about Zack Snyder. Zack's attention to detail, Zack's visual talent is extraordinary. And the way he tells stories, you see it through the visual. He's such an exceptional crafter of moments, and love him or hate him, everyone talks about the movies that he makes. I've learned a lot from his version of storytelling in the sense that he relies on those moments very, very much. He's very much visual media, and he's so good at it. Zack's visuals are second to none, and it's something which I'm going to take with me. So he's a big admirer of how Zack Snyder shoots his films, and Zack Snyder is a visual storyteller, but he also tells stories in the narrated form as well, and that's what I find so fascinating about him as a director. He's able to tell a visual story, and he's also able to tell a narrative story together at the exact same time. Not many can do that as a director, and I find that fascinating, and so does Henry Cavill about Zack Snyder's direction. When you are just a carriage on someone else's train, it can be a dangerous place to be in. When you are the train itself, when you are Peter Jackson, when you were Zack Snyder, when you were Denis Villeneuve, it is, I'm sure, absolutely amazing because it's your vision. That's kind of a little dig there at WB, because, at that time you're on WB's train, per se, as in Cavill's metaphor, and you had to do what they say, And if things weren't going well, they would change it right underneath it, and they would get in the way and they would butt in. But when it's your vision, you get to tell it the way you want to tell it, then that's a different story altogether. You know, when it's Peter Jackson's vision, Lord of the Rings amazing trilogy, his vision, the new Villeneuve, Blade Runner, Sicario, films like that, it's his vision. And in the Zack Snyder vision, if it got to be fulfilled in the way that he wanted it, the 5-story arc, I'm sure people would look at that 5-story arc in a different light. They would look at BVS in a different light. They would look at Man of Steel in a different light, because each film connects to each other. It happens for a reason. It connects together in certain ways, and it has a lot of heart. And that's what he's on about. He's when Zack Snyder's allowed to do his thing, when he gets to tell his vision, that must be absolutely amazing for an artist. That he can sit there and look at that piece of art that he's created, and that's his, and nobody has messed with it. But that hasn't happened. But the Snyder Cut coming in 2021 will be his vision, and I'm sure Zack will be proud to get that out there. Cavill continued using this train metaphor to illustrate the point that just because the passengers think the train should stop somewhere other than where it's supposed to, that doesn't make it a good idea. I think it's only fair that train gets to reach its station, which it's aiming for. I think it's important that vision is realised. Whether you agree or not, it doesn't matter. It's a storyteller's, it's a filmmaker's right to have that vision realised. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what the vision was and how it looks. And Snyder's got the advantage of hindsight now. It's going to be even better. And I love this from Henry Cavill. Just because people cry and bitch and moan that it shouldn't be this way, Henry Cavill's Superman should wear trunks on the outside of his costume, or Ben Affleck's Batman shouldn't kill, doesn't mean they're right. It doesn't. And like, the internet is probably one of the worst things that ever happened to film and theatre, because it really impacts studios, it really impacts filmmakers, actors, how they portray themselves, and it shouldn't. There should be no cap on artistic integrity, on artistic form, and what a director or an actor wants to do, or a writer. If they're held with these restraints, these handcuffs, then we're never going to get anything interesting and thought-provoking. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman do those things. Comic book movies like Logan do those things. And if you put those people in a box, you're never going to get anything special. You're just going to get the same thing movie to movie, and the internet will be a happy place, but at the end of the day it won't be, because people will find something to bitch and moan about. And I love this. It's his vision. He's got hindsight now, so he's been sitting on the Snyder Cut 4 years now. He's thought of things that might not work, that might work. Additional photography, different CGI elements, different techniques of filmmaking, all those things now brought into this story is going to be something very special. And he's right. It doesn't matter if you agree or not. It doesn't matter, because it's his vision. It's his storytelling right to tell this story. Cavill also said, I'm just really happy that Zack got to realise his vision. I think it's important for a filmmaker and storyteller to have their intended vision realised and shown to the world. I'm really looking forward to seeing it myself. It's been quite the ordeal. So finally, Zack Snyder will get to release the film in 2021. We'll get to see what he wanted to do. And people will hate it, people will love it, people will shit on it, but just because it's Zack Snyder and just because it's not this MCU formula, but it's his thing. And his vision will come to light, and Henry Cavill is looking forward to seeing what it looks like. It looks like he hasn't seen what the Snyder Cut is. Jason Momoa has seen it, but he saw it in black and white. So it's going to be new to everybody, and I'm sure Henry Cavill is excited because he has no future Superman coming right now. Nothing's been announced, maybe behind the scenes stuff, but we don't know what's really going on. Henry Cavill also said this, which people found very interesting. I want to see a good movie, or series of movie if he gets it. Now, I was listening to this, and I thought maybe he's referring to Zack Snyder's Justice League as in the episodic form, as in the 4 episodes, saying that I'm looking forward to the series of movies because it's going to be episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. But after looking at it a few more times, it really looks like that he's talking about the future of Zack Snyder's world. And would Henry Cavill, would Ben Affleck come back? Would Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa come back for Justice League 2 and Justice League 3? I think it depends on the success of Justice League 1. I think HBO Max want to see more of this world, and I definitely do as a fan. But it all depends on schedule and definitely COVID and what way. But this could actually be the way going forward, because think about this. If theatres aren't going to be functioning right, a lot of theatres are closing down right now. A lot of films are getting delayed. Wonder Woman, James Bond. Aquaman hasn't even started shooting yet. Aquaman 2. This way of storytelling might be the future. It might be. This might be the reason that Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 is created, because they can do all the restrictions, they can do all the health and safety and make sure no people get COVID, but they can shoot the film in a safe manner, and they don't have to worry about box office expectations. They don't have to worry about putting this film out on in cinemas hoping to get a big box office return, and they probably won't with COVID. But now if you put this on a streaming service like a HBO Max, people have to buy the streaming service. That's a different kind of revenue for HBO Max, for AT&T, Warner Media. This could be the way going forward, and I think WandaVision will be a big hit, and The Mandalorian 2 will also be a big, big hit. And I truly do believe that that's the way going forward for us as movie fans, as TV fans. Everything will be streaming service per se. Netflix will rake it in, HBO Max, Disney Plus. I think that's the way going forward. And if Zack Snyder can if that's what gets him his trilogy, his 5-story arc, then so be it, and that's great for us fans also. Henry Cavill said, "It's a filmmaker's right to have that vision realised. Zack got the advantage of hindsight now, and it's going to be even better." I know I already talked about this, but I want to address it again. It's going to be even better because he's been sitting on this for 4 years. He has thought of new ideas. You see Harry Lennox's Martian Manhunter, maybe that was an original concept idea, but it's going to be made a reality now. And Mikey Pegasus, who won that award for his best poster contest, we see that he wants to do additional scenes with Superman, with Batman, with Lois Lane, with Martha, with Martian Manhunter. So that's going to be pretty cool also if he gets to do that. The talk of it being in October, that's when that additional photography is happening. Nobody has confirmed it yet, but he gets to make this better. And you look at Darkseid. I think the parademons as well that were changed in Justice League in 2017, they'll be brought back to the way that they're supposed to be, maybe to an agree. And then Steppenwolf changed also, because back in 2017, the Steppenwolf we got in the film was the one that was going to be in the Zack Snyder's film, because that was going to be compromised also. So it's going to be an even better film, and I can't wait. It's Zack Snyder uncut. Now, Danny Garcia, Henry Cavill's agent, said this is some Friday. She said that a few days ago, and this is what a fan said: "Is he coming with a gift of Henry Cavill?" And what did she say? She says, "I would say he is most needed." There's a certain part in the community of the Snyder Cut that jumps on everything. If a person has a different opinion, they jump and they call that person names. If somebody doesn't support the Snyder Cut, then they jump and call that person names. Henry Cavill was in that position where he wouldn't publicly, openly commit to the Snyder Cut being real, and many fans would call him a cunt. Many fans would say, "Fuck you, Henry Cavill," and that he hates Zack Snyder, and then create this mythological beef between Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill. They made a Superman film in 2013, Man of Steel, which was a success in terms of box office, and a very, very, probably the best Superman film. They made Batman vs Superman. Henry Cavill said that is a niche in its own right, that type of storytelling. And so what if it is a niche? That's different from any other comic book movie, a different perspective on it. But people have said that Henry Cavill does not want anything to do with Zack Snyder's vision of the character. Without Zack Snyder's vision of the character, Henry Cavill wouldn't exist. Henry Cavill wouldn't be Superman. And he probably wouldn't have as big as a career as he's having right now. Henry Cavill, for me, has always supported Zack Snyder in everything. But he also had to play ball to a degree with Warner Bros. To get his future projects as the character. Zack Snyder's Justice League will come out in 2021. People will be talking about Henry Cavill's Superman. This will lead to maybe cameos in Shazam and other DC films. And I fully believe, I've said this before, that him and Black Adam will go up against it in the future. But Henry Cavill is a supporter of Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut. Don't believe those lies. And you can see the passionate response he has to Zack Snyder in his quotes about the Snyder Cut. But guys, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff by Henry Cavill. Very interesting. I actually, when Henry Cavill does talk, you have to kind of break it down and talk very specifically, because that's what he gives us in every single interview. But guys, give it a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested. Come follow me on all the social medias, all that stuff. Hit the notifications so you know when a new video drops. And see you next time, guys.